early this morning, about 3:45. You can see evidence at the scene. A speed and force sign crumpled after it was knocked to the ground, and a mangled front bumper left behind at the scene by the SUV that struck Greenwald. Now, hours later, someone in Serra Mesa reported finding this Toyota 4Runner in their apartment or near their apartment with obvious front-end damage and the windshield shattered. Investigators say the car belonged to a relative of the man they now have in custody for Greenwald's death. That suspect has been identified as 33-year-old Jason Palmer. Now, again, just minutes ago, we spoke with a friend of the victim at the scene who tells us more about him.
He was really sweet and kind. Like, he did anything if you asked him. He was a sweet guy. I just recently got contact of him over a month ago again. And he was telling me he was working to save for school.
This is such a sad story, saving money to go to school when he was walking home from work. Now, Jason Palmer is now facing felony hit and run and felony manslaughter. We're told he has an extensive criminal record, and friends are now organizing a candlelight vigil for Jacob right here tomorrow night. Now, new at 6 o'clock, you'll hear about what a witness just told us within the past 15 minutes. We're live here in Casa de Oro, Spring Valley. Jennifer Jensen, 10 News.
Jennifer, thank you. This weekend, people throughout the county have been marking the 10th anniversary of the worst wildfire in California history. More than 2,200 homes, including more than 300 in Scripps Ranch, were destroyed in the Cedar Fire. 10 News reporter Candace Groen is live in the Scripps Ranch with how the community came together today to remember.
Well, Pine Castle Street looks a lot different today than it did 10 years ago after the fire pretty much destroyed this entire neighborhood. Now, a homeowner who practically lost everything in the fire told me that what his family did recover still means more to them than what they lost.
You could see the line of fire just coming right down the hill.
David Froman won't soon forget the moment the lives of his family and neighbors were changed forever. Exactly 10 years ago, the Cedar Fire destroyed his neighborhood, burning his home to the ground.
It just looked like a war zone. It was just totally gone except for the chimneys.
On this anniversary, he's counting his blessings, beginning from the moment his family returned to dig through the rubble of what the fire left behind.
We got a number of messages of hope in all of that devastation.
Froman showed 10 News these angels his wife bought years ago because they reminded her of their kids. An angelic find, to say the least, practically untouched by the fire. And then there's this pillowcase they found in a chest with his wife's wedding dress. The hand-embroidered message reads, "God be with you when life's peril thick confound you."
That, to us, was a signal that even in the midst of that, God was with us.
Sometimes out of the worst things, the best things happen.
On Sunday, Froman and other Scripps Ranch residents who survived the fire gathered at a nearby recreation center to mark the anniversary, a tradition they do every year to remember the lives lost, the lives changed, and to recognize the volunteers and friends who helped a community pick up the pieces.
We still remember it, and so do most of our neighbors, as an event that changed our thinking, our living, our lives.
Now, Froman and his family rebuilt their house and moved back in August of 2005. Coming up at 6, he talks about the changes to their home as a result of the fire. We're live in Scripps Ranch tonight. Candace Groen, 10 News.
And we'd like to hear about your experience during the fire and see any photos or videos. Tweet us at 10 News. Use the hashtag CedarFire10.
A fuel tanker in Los Angeles caught fire today and closed down a highway. This is the aftermath of the fire. You can see the burned out big rig. 2 trucks crashed on the 710 freeway in Commerce this morning. The trucks burst into flames after the crash. Then fuel began leaking into a nearby neighborhood. Residents were evacuated. 1 truck driver was badly burned and 2 people were taken to the hospital.
A teen is behind bars today after a huge pot bust in Chula Vista. Police say they saw a truck run a red light on Main Street and Industrial Boulevard last night. They pulled the truck over and found about 5,000 pounds of pot inside. 19-year-old Christopher Velasquez was arrested for transportation of marijuana. He will be in court on Wednesday.
We just checked and police are still looking for a man behind a drive-by shooting today in Spring Valley. It happened last night at the 8900 block of Delrose Avenue. We're told the man was standing outside with friends when the shooter opened fire from a black car. The man was shot in the stomach. He's still in the hospital but is expected to be okay.
5 teenagers are recovering after this SUV crashed in La Jolla. It was breaking news last night at 11. Police say 14 people between the ages of 13 and 17 were in a Ford Excursion when the driver took a curve too fast in heavy fog and flipped the SUV along Muirland Vista. None of the injuries are life-threatening. Police say alcohol was not a factor in the crash.
Taking a live look downtown as the fog rolls in, meteorologist Craig Herrera joins us now from the 10 News Pinpoint Weather Center with when we'll see the first of the rain. Craig?
Yeah, we've been talking about this rain, Preston. It's just off the coast, and that fog comes in as we go through the next couple of hours, and then the rain shortly thereafter. So here's another shot from our Skycam network. As we look out over Coronado, you can see a thick fog bank. So a lot of these cloud bases are going to be lifted up tonight as the storm gets closer. Rain futurecast starting off at 9 p.m. Look at the center of your screen. You'll see the county there. 2 a.m. is where I pause, and green is already popping up west of the mountains. That is the first round of rain. We also have some gusty winds coming in from the west, so a high wind warning begins tonight at 10 p.m. takes us through 8 a.m. on Tuesday, rather. That's for the mountains and desert. So you will see Pinpoint Doppler Live lit up quite a bit as we go through Monday. Coming up in a bit, Riel will continue with 10 News Futurecast and show you just how long this rain will be with us.
Okay, Craig, thank you. Water service being restored to a central San Diego neighborhood after a water main break. It happened just after 1 o'clock this morning on Home Avenue near Menlo Street. 4 blocks have been without water ever since. We're told 3 homes were flooded. It's unclear what caused the 8-inch main to burst.
A criminal investigation is underway into a nursing home that closed Thursday, leaving behind 14 sick and elderly patients. According to the Alameda County Sheriff's Department, medical crews were called to the Valley Springs Manor yesterday. When they arrived, paramedics became concerned after they found most of the staff had up and left. 4 staff members stayed behind, including a cook, janitor, and caretaker, because they felt bad for the patients.
It's just a terribly sad situation that people would just abandon them. We're talking about human beings here that are they're unable to care for themselves. They're bedridden, they're in wheelchairs, we have amputees.
Sheriff's officials are now searching for the owners of the facility. They could be charged with elder abuse.
An American Army veteran saved today after being held hostage by Colombian rebels for 4 months. This is Kevin Satay. He served in Afghanistan as a combat engineer, but was in Colombia backpacking as a tourist. The State Department worked with the Colombian government and Norway and Cuba to get Satay released. The rebels say it was a gesture of goodwill.
Lou Reed died today at the age of 71.
You take a walk on the wild side.
The iconic punk poet passed away in Southampton this morning. His death was caused by complications with his recent liver transplant. Reed influenced generations of musicians as frontman of the Velvet Underground in the 1960s. He then led a solo career and had a cult following.
There's still much more news to come on 10 News.
Next to new at 5, 10 News learns a beloved South Bay attraction will be keeping its doors open after all. Now, the Living Coast Discovery Center was able to turn things around in just 3 weeks.
Plus, what some believe Google has planned for a giant barge parked off the coast of San Francisco.
Plus, the new study that shows heat waves could be predicted weeks in advance. We'll be right back.
New at 5, big news for the Living Coast Discovery Center in Chula Vista.
A budget shortfall threatened its closure earlier this month, but as we first reported this afternoon on 10news.com, the center will remain open after all. 10 News reporter Marie Cornell was there as guests were given the good news.
It's a precious moment like this, seeing the face of a child as he gets his first glimpse of a sea turtle that makes the fight to keep the Living Coast Discovery Center all worth it. Earlier this month, 10 News told you this center, also known as the Chula Vista Nature Center, was in danger of closing because of a $200,000 budget shortfall after grants didn't come in on time. But thanks to donations and fundraisers, in 3 weeks, the center reached its goal and will stay open, allowing the staff of 11 and a handful of volunteers the chance to continue teaching the public about wildlife preservation. And to celebrate in the center's main walkway are the drawings from children who worked to keep the center open. Also featured is this wall of love, notes from visitors who had faith the center doors would remain open.
It's just been a wonderful, amazing experience that really brings back your faith in humanity.
Great news for Sandy Weber and her son Eric, who's autistic. They use the center as a form of therapy.
It's wonderful to have a nature place like this for children to come and be able to see things in their natural habitat. Some people, this is all they can get to.
For visitors Belinda Harrison and Ava, who were visiting from Australia, news about the center's potential closure was enough to make them really appreciate all that it has to offer.
It's just sad, because these guys are not going to know anything. You don't have that experience of being able to come to anywhere like this and learn about it.
The Living Coast will make their official announcement tomorrow morning at 11, letting the public know they will stay open for business. From Chula Vista, Marie Cornell, 10 News.
A mysterious barge near Treasure Island in San Francisco raising questions. The barge, with a 4-story stack of shipping containers, is out in the open for everyone to see, but the project's purpose has been kept under wraps. Much of the speculation centers on the belief that it's a water-based data center for Google. Google has yet to comment.
Meteorologists may be able to predict massive heat waves 3 weeks in advance. A new study says the key may be a pattern of high and low pressure spots across the world. When the pattern shows up, the chances double for an intense heat wave in 2/3 of the U.S. However, some meteorologists say it doesn't predict all the different kinds of heat waves. Too bad they couldn't do that with rain.
Yeah. Speaking of rain, Craig Herrera standing by in the 10 News Pinpoint Weather Center talking about a little rain, wind, and snow.
Yeah, you got it. It's a cold storm coming our direction, and it's absorbing up that cutoff low we've been talking about all weekend just to our west. So big changes as we go through the first part of the week. All right, we'll start off with our Skycam looking out toward downtown. Hazy off in the distance. The flag over to the left side of the screen started to move around a bit from the wind. 66 right now at Lindbergh, 70% relative humidity. And we've got another shot for you of La Jolla showing all the haze and the fog. Over to Poway, finally got some sunshine today, and our temperatures at this hour about 60 degrees or so. 69 in Poway, 71 in Escondido. You got some mid-60s right along the coast, and in the higher elevations, you've got some 60s as well. All right, here's what we have going on. We talked about that cutoff low that was spinning just off the coast. You can't really make it out just now, but it's going to impact us starting tomorrow. Also, another storm system right about here starting to dive down to the south. So as we go through tonight, this system gets closer to us. It gets pulled on in. We'll start to see some rain tonight into Monday. Scattered showers throughout the day. That second system dives in from the north with some very cold air from Canada. Snow down to 5,000 feet and some isolated showers and thunderstorms through Tuesday. Timing-wise, let's look at futurecast rain. We'll start off at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for the morning commute. I think west of the mountains, we're starting to see some of the rain pop up on the map here. We'll go through the afternoon. Notice here we got a lot of green. That's 10 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really change a whole lot. Now, it's not going to be coming down consistently throughout the whole morning, but we'll have scattered showers. That's through the commute home again on Monday. Get about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch west of the mountains. For the mountains, 1/2 an inch to about 2 inches of rain. And then on Tuesday morning, a big batch covering the entire county there. And you can see some blue up to the north. We'll see some blue on our map across 5,000 feet to indicate where the snow is. Tuesday by the commute home, we're starting to see the last of it. So it looks like we'll see the heaviest rain on Monday into Monday night. And then on Tuesday, we still have a couple more scattered showers to contend with before we start to see some clearing. We also have that high wind warning for the mountains and deserts that begins at 10 p.m. tonight, takes us through 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So if you're going to be in the mountains, high profile vehicles really need to watch it. Overnight lows dropping into the 50s. The fog blows in, but then as we go through the overnight hours, some of the rain coming in will start to wipe that out. But the commute tomorrow is going to be a little messy for you. In fact, the commute home, same story. 60s for highs tomorrow from the coast to the inland valleys. Not much change at all. No microclimates tomorrow with the clouds in place. Higher elevations into the 50s. Right across the deserts, we're only into the 70s or so. Extended forecast at the coast. Here we go with some rain, isolated showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday. Some foggy conditions on Wednesday. Thursday, just in time for Halloween, plenty of sunshine. And next weekend, it's that time change. It's time to fall back an hour or so. So again, a big change for us for the rain tomorrow, about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch by the time we get into Tuesday. West of the mountains, about 2 inches of rain. And we do have Palomar Mountain above 5,000 feet, some snow there by Tuesday morning. So big cold storm coming on in.
A lot going on this week.
Yeah.
Halloween, we got rain.
Time change.
Time change.
Yeah.